Okay, recording. We're good.
Okay, so
agenda.
Okay, so the agenda is sales process, social media audit, ClickFunnels content, and slide deck strategy. Okay, I'll break them all down.
Jesus, guys. All right.
So
just a couple of things on your mind. I got it.
Just a couple things, right? So,
right.
You know, I heard you speak highly of Roberto Blake, so I threw him a couple bucks, and I booked 4 sessions with him.
Yeah.
We did first session 2 weeks ago. The poor guy's going through some like crisis or something. I don't know. Like,
is he?
Yeah, he's going through some weird middle stage where it's real awkward, where he doesn't know what kind of content to put out or something. So I got this really weird email yesterday from him.
Yeah.
You got it too, I'm sure, if you're on his list. But anyway, he's the coaching calls are helpful. Like the first one was really helpful.
Yeah.
But it's no Chris Do. Like he promised me the Cliff Notes, and I'm still waiting for him. And it's 2 weeks ago. So like, you know, and then I booked a call, and he said that the $1,500 I paid him was a recurring payment. And I was like, I did not know that, sir. So you need to cancel that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things there. But the one thing was he gave me some insight on my social media content. And I want to just go over that with you today to see if that's something that you can help me with.
Okay.
But the sales process is what I want to talk about first. Something tells me that I could be doing this a better way. So I ask the questions. I have my list of questions, and I go through the diagnosis. Then I ask the Sullivan question, and then I go into, what do you want to make next year? You know, what do you want to make with this business in the next year? And they tell me. And then I go, what percentage do you want to invest? And then they say 20% or 15%. And then they realize that, you know, sometimes it's 72 grand or 200 grand, right? If they want to do $1 million, right?
Right.
And right away they're like, I'm out. Like,
why?
Because they finally did the math, and they were like, there's no way I could afford that. So I'm gonna go find a cheaper route. So I thought of this. If I'm going to play ball in this field, I need to find another segment of audience. And that's got to be the small business owner who's generating at least $1.5 million to $5 million a year in revenue.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't sound too niche, but it doesn't really matter what the niche is. Like, I don't really have a favorite. Actually, I do. It's high-end salons, but they're cheap. They don't pay this kind of money. So the other niche would be restaurants.
Okay.
I'm just spitballing here. I'm thinking out loud, but finding a small business niche that's willing to pay this kind of money. They're cheap too, because I worked with them for years. But like a niche another segment that I can target now, which leads me to, I'm going to flip around this ClickFunnels world. So since the last time we spoke, I've come to find out that 96% of people who find me and actually do business with me come from the ClickFunnels world.
That makes sense.
So why am I not doing more around ClickFunnels to generate more of that and then bringing them in? Because here's what happens. They come in, I want a funnel. And then I stop them in their tracks with my questioning. And then they're like, oh crap, you're right. I need this. And then they move forward. So it's all about weeding out the widget sellers and the people that really want to like do something with their business, right? Not these like fly by night people. And that's the problem that I'm having. So I wanted you to take a look at my social media content, specifically on YouTube and Instagram, and audit me and be like, what is this? Like, who is this for? And so I'm in the middle of a pivot right now. because I had a conversation with one of my buddies who's I was in Russell Brunson's group with, and he said, Henry, the people that you're trying to attract, they value their time more than they value their money. So nobody's getting on a 45-minute webinar and sitting through that. They want, can you help them build this? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. How much? Okay. How long is it going to take? Okay. What's the process? Okay. Here's my money. That's how that works.
Is that the work you want?
Yeah. That's easy.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
It's like you're,
I see your
I
head
guess,
spinning.
no, it's just, we both have come back from vacation. And it's like, and I'm trying to figure out like one problem to tackle here.
Oh, one problem. Okay. So the problem, so let's talk about the sales process.
Okay.
Let's talk about the sales process for a second.
Okay.
They booked a $100 call. They get on the phone with me. I walk them through their pains. I get their dreams. I demonstrate my process. And then here's how I typically say it. Let me explain. Okay, so you just told me that you're okay with investing upwards of 20% of this $360,000 you want to make in the next year. Yes, that comes to $72,000. Good news is I'm not going to charge you $72,000 right out of the gate. But I will tell you, a lot of clients go and they do their homework and they look around and they get prices of 40, 50, 60,000 just for strategy. With my process, my system, my efficiencies, I do that for $10,000. And then it's like, they're like, okay, well, what does that get me?
Oh.
Okay. And then I say summary and insight, 4 or 5 work sessions. We get the summary and insights document. I also give you an execution plan, which is I'll give you a conservative, intermediate, and aggressive model plan. And you could take that. You can let us do it for you. You could give it to somebody else. You can have your internal team do it. You could do nothing with it. It doesn't matter. I don't want you to feel like you have to use me at the end. But at least I'm going to give you that blueprint before you leave. 10,000 is like, whoa. Well, then what's the rest of it going to cost? Well, I don't know. We have to dig that out in the diagnosis and strategy program. Could it cost you 72? Yeah, could. Could cost you 172, depending on how bad how big you want to go. But I don't know that until we go through this process. Well, let me think about, I got to think about it, $10,000. And that's the end of the conversation. Then they say, oh, give me a week. I'll think about it. Nothing. And yeah. I don't follow up. I don't want to chase.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if I don't close them on that call,
it's not happening.
It's not happening. And it very rarely does. Very rarely does.
Okay. Let me ask you a couple questions.
Please.
What's the tone of voice that you speak to them? Are you speaking to me in the same tone of voice?
No, it's a little bit more. It's upbeat. Like I see where you're going with this. It's upbeat. Like
let me ask you something. Yeah. How old is Dante right now?
2.
How do you talk to him? Dad, I want to go there. What are you gonna say to him?
I usually talk in a very calm tone.
Like what? Just give me an example. I've never heard you speak in a calm tone before, so I want to hear it.
So it's funny. I always tell my wife this too. Like, when you calm down, he'll calm down.
Right.
So very similar to this.
Yes, that's the voice you should be using all the time.
Okay, so radio voice.
Radio voice, man.
Okay.
Because I'm coming to you and I feel nervous already. And it almost seems like you're yelling at me the whole time. You see? And you read the book, right? It's like, what is it? Only 7% of what is communicated is the words you use. and 38% is in the tone, and then the rest, the 55%, is in body language.
Body language.
So you know that. You have a good radio voice.
I know.
You have to do it. The low, deep register, the slow, methodical, let me talk to you. I need to feel reassured. I need to feel safe. I need to feel like you're not a car salesman. Now, I don't think you are, but you sound like one. They're very aggressive. They're very loud. So the reason why I think you've been so successful with these coaches and experts is because they're super loud and aggressive. And you guys meet on the same mental plane. They're like, can you do it? Yes, I can. Are you gonna pay? Yes, I will. Let's do it. You know, that's really what you guys are doing. And that's why you relate to them, and that's why they buy from you. Because they don't want some mousy person who's unsure of themselves.
Right.
Right? So then you get super aggressive clients who tell you what to do and yell at you all the time, which we don't want.
We don't. And listen, I don't want you to think that that's like every client I track.
No, I know.
Okay, because I've had some really good strategy clients in the past couple of months that were very, very good. They just didn't have the pocketbook to move forward.
Right.
And what
that's a difference. That's a different issue.
That's a big difference. Yeah, that's a big difference.
But in the time that I've been coaching you, you've had like really horrible client experiences.
Yeah.
Equal to I probably have 3 bad clients in my life.
I know. I hate
and you had them like in a year and a half. It's like, Jesus, what is going on? Because that world is full of egomaniacs, know-it-alls. They're the experts. Shut up. Do what I'm telling you to do because nobody's as smart as me. I make the money. You do what I say. And those are like bad relationships, right? It's like you're getting into these abusive relationships. But
like the woman. Go ahead. I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You want to say something?
No. Keep going.
I just think you actually have a really excellent radio voice, that you use the high energy voice for very specific things like, congratulations, we're going to do this together. That's when you use that voice.
Okay, this is good.
This is not your default voice. Your wife will love you for it. And I'll give you an example. My wife's very well aware of this, but in Asian culture, people speak to each other like they're yelling at each other all the time. I'm not used to that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't think you're yelling at me the whole time. And so she comes into the room after sending me an email to read contracts. She knows I hate reading contracts. I stopped doing what I was doing. I wrote the contract, but I forgot to attach the email. She goes home. She's like, I told you not to send this email. And she's like yelling at me the whole time. She's not yelling in her mind, but she's yelling the way I'm receiving it. And I turned to her. I'm like, could you say this without yelling at me? And she's like, she gives me a look and she just keeps talking like that the whole time. So we resolve it all. And then she goes away, right? Later that night, I walk over to her and she's cooking dinner. And I said, what are you doing? Why are you cooking this? And then she started laughing right away. I spoke to her in the exact same voice she spoke to me earlier in the day. Right? And she's just like laughing so hard. Oh, and I said, right? I'm like, that's one way to do it. Or another way is, honey, I see that you took the time out of your day to do this thing. And I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but I think you forgot the attachment. Was that on purpose? And she smiles, right? So now every time I talk to her, I just yell at her.
I love it.
So she becomes aware. It's like, you see, it's like when people yell back at you, it's no fun, but you yell at, she's not yelling in her mind. It's just the way of talking. And it's not a good way of talking.
Okay. So this is really helpful because I like how you set that up, because next call I get on, the first thing I'm going to say to myself is radio voice and talk to him like Dante. And I'm just going to slow it down.
Why do you talk to Dante like that?
Because I read this book, Conscious Parent, The Conscious Parent. Mm-hmm. And basically the book said your energy will be picked up by your child's energy.
Right.
And they will mirror that right back at you.
Right.
Like they're going to come at you at that same level. So when he's all fired up, I want to tone him down, I go low.
Right.
I go low and soft and slow, and he goes right down. Okay.
So it's not any different in human to human communication.
No.
So you'll notice, like when I talk to you, I'm not yelling at you. I don't want to yell at you. I want to talk to you and bring your energy down. Right? Because I want you to feel safe with me.
That's it. It's funny. I tell my clients that all the time, make them feel safe. And here's me yelling at them while I say it. But okay.
Right? Okay, so I know here's one already clear action for you to do.
Yeah.
You already said it. Use your radio voice. Pretend they're Dante. If you only did this one thing, watch your close ratio.
I could imagine.
Okay, so now here's the thing. What I want you to do is to adjust your antenna to tune into their emotional needs and to be super present to what's going on. We must get rid of this idea that we're selling, that we're trying to impress them, we're trying to be the experts, or just get rid of all that, because all that stuff is taxing on the CPU of your brain. Okay? So when they call first, like, thanks for doing this call, let's understand, so you have a $360,000 problem. Did I get that right? Then they need to say that's right. If they don't say anything other than that's right, you have to stop. My feeling is they gave you a number to try to impress you.
Okay, could be.
Because they're subconscious. Like, you're the expert, man. I don't want to say it's only a $40,000 gain.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. So I make up a higher number. So what we have to do is we have to, there's this thing that is like, what is like entertained in the mind becomes real. So you have to like say, like, imagine, like, what does this look like? So the more they can think it, imagine the mind, the more real it becomes. So my guess would be that they say to you, it's $360,000 of new business, and they're a little puffing up there. And then you move on to the next phases, which is, you know, you don't want to minor in the majors.
Right. Uh-huh.
Right?
Yep.
Where this is a major effort. This is a big effort, right? Yes. How come? Yeah. Okay. That's right. Okay. So you can then say typically people would spend something between 20 to 30% of what they hope to gain. Does that seem like a reasonable percentage to you? And then listen for the hesitation, because they now know a trap has been sprung. Right?
Yeah.
They know. There's like, you just said it right on the floor there. Like, I see it now. And so momentum is going towards you and away from them. And you need to make them feel like they're in control the whole time.
Right.
Right? So you're going to ask lots of questions. You're helping them to think and make decisions. So if they're hesitant, they'll be hesitant later. So we got to move past that before we move on to the next step, to say like, okay, so by my math, that's about on the lower end, say 72K. Is that something that you're prepared to spend to gross 360K? Now, mind you, that's a one-time fee and not a recurring fee. I guess, yes. Okay. So here's what I like to do. $72,000 is a lot of money to spend. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, I agree. And you might even have it. Is that correct? No, I don't have it. That's why I'm coming to you. Okay. So let's do a phased engagement. Why don't we do this? You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint. What I do is I help you come up with a blueprint. Does that make sense? Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. And to do that, I charge $10,000 to do it. It's a flat fee. Is that something you're comfortable spending? No, it's not. Well, let's talk about that.
See, I don't ask that question.
I know, because you're just like a bull in a china shop. You're pushing through. You're pushing through too fast.
Okay. That's why I needed this call.
Well, you got to put that chain in front of you.
It's right here.
Well, you got to read it before the calls, because this is slow down, dude. Slow digestion, man. We got to slow down. Yeah. We're not hearing that. So this is like, I bet you back in your day when you're the shark that you were, and you took a girl out on a date, you were so attentive to her needs.
Oh, forget it.
Right? Oh, it's like, she liked that? I'm buying that later. She didn't like that food? I'm sending it back. You were so attentive because you were horny. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Right? So you wanted the business bad, and you knew you could not rush it. You knew that you needed to send out a signal that Henry is a good guy. He's attentive. He's kind. He's generous. All those kinds of things, that you close the deal. But you would not ask to close the deal before you even had the salad.
That's correct.
It's not going to work. That's what you're doing right now. You're like, boom, 32 dead. It's like, it's too transactional. Make me feel safe first, and know very well that a lot of them cannot afford you. It's totally okay. But You're going to leave them with a feeling. See, here's the thing. This is how you convert a loss to a win. When they walk away, it's like, God, Henry was so upfront, honest, and I can't afford him today. Next time somebody asks me, you know what? You can afford him. I'm going to recommend you go and talk to Henry.
That's it.
So they become advocates for you. They become unofficial, unpaid employees.
That's it. Okay.
But we're not doing that because we're saying, okay, when they say, I got to think about it, that's a polite no.
That's I know.
You know, so before they say, I want to think about it, you already know that certain things have made them feel uncomfortable.
That's it. That's it. That's it. How about last 2 weeks ago? Yeah. On a Friday, went through the process. I didn't make him, I didn't charge him the $100. We just linked up on LinkedIn and he booked a call, like very, very smooth. Got on the phone, sounded like a real sharp guy, sounded like somebody I wanted to work with, really good. Wants to move forward. Said, awesome. I'm going to send you over the promise agreement. I'll send you over the invoice. You can, and once that's paid, we'll get you booked on my calendar. Let's go. In a split second, signs the agreement, and then nothing.
Yeah. Buyer's remorse.
Then I follow up with him in a couple of days, and he says, I'm working some things out still. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm excited to get ready.
Yeah.
I said, I'm excited to get going. He said, excellent. Sounds good. Now, that was last week sometime. Do I want to reach out to him again? I went to reach out to him again right before this call, and I said, no, don't do it.
Why?
He's just going to come back and say, because I read the previous message, and he said, when I'm ready, I will reach out to you. That's what he wrote in the last correspondence. So here's what I was going to write back. What's up, Rich? How is everything? I wanted to just let you know that this $10,000 engagement isn't going to be $10,000 forever. So if you want to lock in this price, send me a deposit of $1,000 and I will promise you this price. Otherwise, this agreement is only valid for another 20 days.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
I got to push him along. I don't want to push him along in my gut. I don't want to push him.
Don't push him along.
That's why I didn't reach out.
Yeah. You're using high pressure sales tactics.
Yes. And I don't want to do that.
Right. I don't think you need to do it.
No.
I think you need to ask him a no question.
Okay. Let me remember.
Ask him a question that he can answer no to.
Oh,
like, you remember? Like, are you ready to give up on this project?
That's right. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So is it bothering you for me to drop you a reminder email every 2 weeks? No, it's not. Then every 2 weeks you email them.
Okay. Say that again. What'd you just say?
You just try to get a question so they can say no to.
No, right. I get that. But
so you say, would it bother you if I sent you a reminder email every 2 weeks?
Okay. That's what I thought you said. Okay.
Right?
Right. It is. And if they say no, then I'm going to send them an email every 2 weeks.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
That's all you're going to do.
All right.
And then a couple of emails into that, you don't waste all your time. The third email is like, okay, are you ready to give up on this?
Yeah, that's right. That's
all you do.
All right. Yeah, listen, I'm not.
It's super chill.
It's super chill. And that's
how you have to do it.
Exactly.
It'll achieve the same results, but it won't create the kind of anxiousness that the other one will.
One thing I really like is doing these calls now on Zoom. I do them face to face.
Yeah. Good.
It's a little bit of a different feel than the phone.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say something. I can't remember.
I hate when I cut people off.
No, it's okay. What were we talking about right before this face-to-face thing? I know what it is. Yeah, don't pressure people because they're going to regret it. And you know, it's like, I know what it's going to say now. You know, today there's a lot of in interpersonal relationships between men and women that there's a lot of weird signals, right? And then men, I've listened to this on the radio. They get arrested for rape, right? And there's an attorney who defends young men against this because she's like, there's this weird communication issue that a guy and a girl agree to have sex, they have sex, and somewhere in there she changes her mind. Literally, she admits all this stuff, and she starts to weep a little bit. He doesn't notice it till about 30 seconds later, and then he stops, and then they end it. So
that 30 seconds is questionable.
So they're like, so how long is too long? How short is too short? There's no dispute that they agreed to have sex and they did the whole thing, and then she changed her mind. So it's kind of impossible for people. So the only way to go around this is to have explicit conversations around, are you okay? You can say no, and then get in writing. It's crazy, right? It's gotten bananas, right? Because too many unaware men are just driven by their hormones that attack women. So now we've created in a way, some kind of rape culture. But in your relationship with your client, I don't want you to push them to sleep with you or do the deal because they're going to regret it.
Totally.
So let's not do that. Let's slow it all down.
That's right. Well, it's funny because the client that I onboarded on Monday, she hired this one guy. He was just on the podcast. She hired this one guy a few months back, $10,000, got nothing out of it. Right. Hired this other woman, 10 grand, nothing out of it. And she's like not bad mouthing, but like very on the cusp of bad mouthing. And I'm in my head, I'm saying to myself, I am no different. This woman will not treat me any different. Do I want this woman as a client? As she's talking, this is what's going on in my head.
Yeah.
And I said, right when she finally stopped talking, I said, and she was like, well, tell me about your program, whatever. I was like, well, here's the deal. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to pay me $1 and not get what you are looking for. So I'm retreating. I'm pulling back.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, it sounds like you've been burned a couple of times.
Good.
That's so I'm going in like that route, right? She bought. And she's a real firecracker, this one.
Yeah. So
I get on the call with her today, and it went 2 freaking hours, which I'm fine with. I didn't have much today going on, but like she was bringing that heavy energy, and I had to and I actually caught myself talking slow and doing what you're telling me to do right now, which brought her way down. So I think she's going to be a really fun client to work with, to be honest with you. I think she's got a lot of potential. She really does. But I said to myself, because there was some limbo there, she actually on Monday opened up the agreement, didn't sign it, and then about 20 minutes later, I get a text message from one of my clients, and she said, and he said, I told this woman to work with you. And I said, what was her name, Gianna? And he said, yeah, that's it. I go, son of a bitch. She went to my website, found his name, and called him. So I quickly went to a couple other clients that were female, and I said, could I use you as a reference? Then they were like, absolutely. So I text this woman, and I said, here's 3 more references you could call. And she wrote back all embarrassed. She was like, no, it's okay. I just wanted to hear somebody say yes. And I was like, no, it's all good. This is a big investment. You should do your homework. And she paid me. So, but and then Dom did tell me that she sounded very nervous. But after this call, I got off this call today, she was blown away. She said, this call alone was more than any of those other 2 vendors have ever given to me in their entire program. That made me feel really good.
Yeah.
That made me feel really good. And if you watch the video, it's the last video on my Facebook right now, because I just posted it like an hour ago. At the end, she said, what did you do? Just make all of this up? And and I told her how I did it, and then that kind of led into why I'm doing it. And you could see her getting goosebumps. And like, I wanted to put that out there because she goes, you know, at the end of the video, she says, as I dig deeper, there's a lot more to you. And I was like, well, there's much more. I forget how she said it. And I said, wow, I wish more people could see that. I wish more people could see that.
What do you hear when she says that?
What do I hear?
Mm-hmm. How do you process that?
That's a great question. How did I felt respected. I felt valued. I felt, and then there was a side of me that says, I wish more people would see that.
Oh, what are they seeing instead?
I think they're just seeing like high level, you know, what everybody else is talking about and not like, I guess, the real stuff. And that's why I kind of turned that around, because there's a couple clients I had in the past that were these online marketers that were young. They were like 26, 24, and they were crushing it. Like 100K a month revenues, like just crushing it. And those guys were great to work with, man. They were fired up. They looked up to me as like, wow, you're doing, and it was just a great relationship, right? So every time I put out a piece of content, I'm saying to myself, would Adam resonate with this? Would Jared resonate with this? Would Carrie Ann resonate with this? And if the answer is no, I don't post it. And so what I'm talking a lot about now is like scaling and getting in your own way. These are everything. All of these little key phrases, it's what these people are writing down in their applications before they call me. So I'm just using that in the content, and it seems to be working. I like lost touch of who my profile was, who my client was. And I was putting out all this shit and I was attracting all these broke people.
Okay.
So I wanted to stop that. And that's why I think I hired Roberto, because I figured maybe he can audit my brand, my messaging and my content, and put me back on the straight and narrow. But I should have messaged you first and asked you to do that.
He's really good with YouTube stuff. I think we've gotten better than him, but that's his whole focus. So that's what I would use him for.
Yeah, he said he's shocked on what you did.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. So
Yeah.
So here's what I'm hearing, Henry. I wrote this question down. Are there two Henrys? Is there an external Henry? And then who is the real Henry? And just think about that. I don't want an answer just yet. And I've been thinking about this while you were talking. Your default energy is what you're talking to me right now. So to do Dante takes you a lot of effort, and to go ballistic, it probably doesn't take that much effort for you to go from there to there. It takes a lot of energy, mental focus for you to use the Dante voice, right? So yeah. I think so. Because it's like you have to make a little bit of an effort, okay? So I have this question for you, and this may change how you and I proceed moving forward in terms of how I advise you best.
Okay.
Are you the guy who should be really for, and I hate to say this, so don't use this, don't think of this as me judging you at all, but no. Like I see you as a Jay Glazer. Like physically, you know who he is?
The football guy.
Football guy. And now he's training people in martial arts, and he's like, it's Jay Glazer. He is like, he's amped. He's staying up all night. He's like crushing Red Bulls and just working all the time. That's his energy. He's like a high energy guy, and he appeals to a certain kind of person, like sports, like entrepreneurs, motivational people. Or are you the Henry that wants to be a softer, gentler, kinder Henry who grew up on the streets trying to survive and then changed to adjust to that world, but wants to revert back to this more vulnerable person? Which Henry do you want to be? Or is there some other Henry out there I haven't described? because I might be doing you a disservice by saying, hey, use your Dante voice. When I should be saying, get yourself in front of Jay Glazer's audience.
Right.
Like, hey, you idiot, come here. No, we're going to do this now. And then they're, yes. Right?
Okay.
So we have to make a big decision.
Wow, I can't have both?
I don't think you can be.
I don't think so either.
Because if you're more neutral and I can ramp you up or ramp you down, yes. But I think you're a high energy guy. And I have people I try and help, they're super low energy. I can't get them to be passionate about anything.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I'm going to go with what my gut and what comes really easy to me. It's the Jay Glazer.
Okay. Then we need to start thinking about that now.
Okay.
That shifts the whole conversation, right?
All right. So
we're a little different now.
I was going to have a conversation to you about that. Like, I'm all about slow digestion. Like, I still agree that I need to.
That's fine.
Yeah.
The framework, the concept is good. The philosophy is good. It's just now the energy that you're packing and who you're trying to reach to.
Right.
You still need to listen to people for sure.
Yes.
But you could be high energy and you could be aggressive because that's what they want to be.
That's right. I get it. So to answer your question, let's lean towards that because that's what I'm familiar with. I think that's what I'm known for. That's right.
And that's, you're comfortable being that guy, right?
I'm super comfortable there.
Okay. All right. So now what we have to do is we just have to look for an audience that isn't just experts.
And that's why I segmented out this small business owner. So this small business owner, I used to have a lot of these folks way before I got into this stuff, like funnels and stuff. There's two actually direct competitors that I actually did work for. And I don't think they liked it too much, but they dealt with it. These guys were in their 50s, early 50s. They owned big companies, like $5 to $8 million event planning companies. Like, you want a killer bar mitzvah, you want them to do your wedding, you want them, right? Big, and that's big money out here. Like, average wedding out here is like 150 grand, 200 grand, right? That's average wedding. It's crazy. And these guys, beautiful market for that, right? And they were pretty easy to work with. No big pushback. They really took my lead. Always, took care of me. Always paid well. Blah 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 blah. Those, like Freddie is his name, and John. Those two guys were beauts to work with, and I want more of those people. So
they're event planners.
They're like they're high end premium event planners. John Macaluso, he's another one. He competes with those guys.
Okay, before we go there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Small business owners are not really a niche. That's not even a vertical that you can really attack.
Okay.
It's pretty broad still, right? So you're going to be having a hard time finding these people. If you say, I want to work with event planners.
I gotta pick one of these.
That's a lot narrower. You can go to event planning seminar.
Yeah.
Right? Or an expo.
Yeah. You
can't go to a small business owner expo. It's just too broad.
It's way too
However, are you into sports?
I am into sports. I mean, I'm not.
Which sport?
I like football.
Football. All right. Well, think about. See, those guys have money, and they're all concerned about a post-career after football.
Like players?
Yes, athletes.
Okay.
Because you have all the teams, all the franchises, the minor, the majors, and the feeder leagues. They all need to develop a brand long after they're done. Whether it's about acting, carpentry, leveraging their thing. This is why agents and even guys like Gary Vaynerchuk are helping them with their social media. They don't need a ClickFunnels. They need branding help.
That's right. Whoa, this is crazy.
Would you have fun working with those people?
Oh my God, it would be amazing.
Like you'd be traveling everywhere, courtside, ringside. You would be with your people, and you could go back to being Pitbull again.
So you want to know what's crazy? Frank Vuono, he represents Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason. I met him through the Chamber of Commerce over here.
Okay, good.
He actually, before we actually really engaged, I was going to him and talking to him, like he represents Hakeem Olajuwon.
Mm-hmm.
He can be an outlet. He can potentially be someone who could connect me with because I think who would I be targeting? The ball player themselves or the agent?
Well, your end client is going to be the athlete, but you have to get through them to them somehow.
Yeah, that's
the easiest thing is to sell it to the agent.
Right.
That's easiest because all you have to do is do a good job for one person.
Oh,
that's the beauty of niching, right? Because you do a good job for Hakeem Olajuwon, guess what happens? He tells all his friends, and then they tell all their friends, and then you jump from sport to sport. You just need to like find a market.
So I know Ron Harper personally. Do you know who that is?
Is it a basketball guy?
Yeah, he played for the Bulls. I mean, with Michael Jordan. So him and MJ are like buds.
Yeah.
I need to reach out to Ron and take him out to lunch and maybe like do something for him. Like do something like just as a, because I know he's got some shit going on. He probably doesn't know what's up from down, and just give him everything. Like just help him out. Ron is the type, like he golfs with Tiger Woods. Like,
yeah.
Right. So like you do that for Ron, and like he's the type of guy that won't forget that. And
yeah, see, so here's the thing. I'm glad your head's already spinning with ideas and outlets, right? Yeah. So I think ClickFunnels is an application of thinking. And when you lead with that, that's what people buy. It's mechanical. It can be a commodity. If you lead with, hey, I really help personal brands or people with personal brands so that they can have a platform to leverage their notoriety, that's much better than I do ClickFunnels.
I agree, 1,000.
Right? It's like I'm a WordPress guy. No, I'm not. I develop websites, and if you lead with the tool and the application, you're not put up in that kind of upper echelon.
You're right. You're right.
Only certain kinds of people like it, are aware of it, or want it. Right. The reason why I believe it's working so well for you right now is because you're getting very warm to hot leads coming to you, even though they don't know anything about you. Because to even know what a ClickFunnels is, you've already been enrolled, you've been drinking the Kool-Aid already.
Right.
So they come pretty much to you on a platter. Then if you just listen and you service them and you manage your energy, you'll close it if you're not in a rush to close it. But the real question here is, I just think that who you are, who you want to work with, we got to get in alignment there.
Yeah. So, I got upset the other day. And my wife was like, why do you care? So I got upset the other day because this guy came in through ClickFunnels. He threw $35,000 at me. He wound up being a gem to work with. Is he going to fucking do anything with it? No.
What do you mean?
Like he wants to become an affiliate marketer. That's what he wants to be.
Based on like does he have a large following?
No, nothing. Literally.
So how?
Nothing.
Okay, so go on.
So he pays the $35,000.
Yeah.
And I walk back into the restaurant because I said to my wife, well, that was the easiest $35,000 I ever made. And I wasn't happy about it.
You feel guilty?
I didn't feel guilty. I felt pissed because I was like, what am I still doing that I am attracting these fucking widget sellers that would sell their fucking underwear through a funnel? Why do I still attract these people? And it makes me mad because I don't want to work with people who sell underwear through a funnel.
Well, what's wrong with that?
That's exactly what my wife said. Henry, why do you give a shit? If they are willing to pay you, then let them pay you. Like when somebody drives off the lot with their Mercedes and beats the hell out of it, is the salesperson upset about that? No. So why are you upset? And I was like, well, I want to provide value. I want them to walk away and like really be inspired and empowered and want to
Who gets to decide that?
Huh?
Who decides if you're giving?
They do.
Well, there you go.
Right. So
You're projecting.
I'm projecting.
Yeah.
So
And you're judging.
I'm the worst at that. So it's that's what's going on in my head. So that's why I was getting upset. And so then I finally, she gave me that and I was like, okay, I can't get upset about it, but I don't want to work with these people like when I'm 50. I'd rather be working with, Kobe Bryant. He's like,
When we all
right, but like
Shaquille. I mean, everybody.
Somebody like that, like somebody. It doesn't even need to be an A-list star. It could be a B-list star. I mean, whatever. But like to say that you were working with, Jason Pierre-Paul from the Giants, like that's really effing cool. Like Henry does branding for football athletes that are getting ready to retire.
A second career.
A second career.
Second career beyond sports. It's a better position than to retire.
Okay.
Because it doesn't state you're old or you're ready to die.
That's right.
Right? So you're going to teach people how to leverage their fame.
Yeah.
So sit down and think about how you're going to do that.
Yeah, that's an amazing project. That
would be really fun to work on.
That would be. That is a brilliant idea. This was good. Okay. So what I need to do though, well, I feel like I still need to, is there's this high influx of ClickFunnels traffic coming my way.
Yeah.
I either need to stoke that fire a little bit and just have that be a segment that I serve. It doesn't need to be my everything, but continue to work that because that's where all the money's coming from. And I can't ignore that. I can't turn my back to it.
You don't need to.
Yeah. So that's that. But so this is really good. So I have more connections than I think I know I have right now. Cause I know I have one person who is actually friends with all these people.
Yeah.
Like personal friends with Jason Pierre-Paul, personal friends with these guys on the Giants.
Yeah.
There's
a line from Darren Hardy. You can't see what you're not looking for. They were right in front of your eyes the whole time.
Well,
but you weren't looking for them.
I never thought of picking that niche.
Right.
I never thought of picking that niche.
I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at you thinking you are most closely aligned with this group. Why are we not just going where you naturally fit in? And once you get into athletes, then you can get into superstars, pop stars.
Yeah.
You just have to get into that famous world, and then you're in. You trade and you leverage. So leverage your relationships. Try to figure it out. So did you read The Business of Expertise by David Baker?
No.
You don't need to. I'll tell you everything I know about it.
Okay.
I don't know why, Henry, but I've been reading so many books recently. Like I'm just eating them like candy now. Something has happened. Like I'm on next level reading now.
Good.
So in the book, he says there's a great quote, something like from a writer. I write to learn what it is I'm thinking.
Okay.
So that really just hit me in the face. And I was talking to my wife about this. It's like I think a lot, but it's the reason why I like going out to teach and to lecture is because I want to learn what it is that I know.
I want to know what it is that I know.
That's why I write. That's why I teach, right? So I'm doing it in a verbal, spontaneous way, but it's not captured unless somebody videotapes it. So I'm going to make a more deliberate habit of writing. So many people who are experts and coaches and influencers write. You and I, we need to make a commitment to write.
Yeah.
So here's what he says. We all, in a way, start off as some kind of fraud or fake. because we claim an expertise that we yet don't know. And then what we have to do is work really hard to attain the knowledge so that then it becomes true. Okay, so process that. So we've now picked out a niche that I think is going to yield an unlimited amount of money, right? There's no shortage of the number of clients. The real question is how many people are already doing that for them right now? No name comes to mind, which is scary. So let's do a little homework, because we don't want to be the first. First means you spend all the time and get so little. The ideal number is somewhere between 10 to 20 competitors doing what you do. So I think it sounds something like this. You help athletes from all sports find a second career to leverage their fame into a business of influence.
That's it.
Something like that.
That's the headline of the site.
Okay. So then you start to change everything. Now, when you meet with one of these guys, have lunch, whatever, use all the skills of unearthing, surfacing what it is that they need, and just be really like, I'm just doing homework. I just want to learn. Don't be quick to like, I'll do something free for you. I'll help you out with this. Just listen, and learn so much from them.
Got it.
Because they may tell you what Chris Voss refers to as the black swan, the unknown unknowns. There's things you don't know. If you don't open your mind to it, you won't even hear where the real pay dirt is.
That's right.
Okay?
Right.
So what I want you to do, your only goal is not to sell. Your only goal is to focus on the needs of the other person and listen like you've never listened before.
Okay.
Take notes.
Yep.
Lean in. Yep. Ask really smart, open-ended questions.
Yep.
And guide them through the conversation. At the end of it, hopefully, when that athlete gets off the table, they're like, dude, that was amazing. I want to work with this guy.
Yeah.
They're not shy about spending money. What they are they're shy and wary of people who want to take their money.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of those people in their family.
I know.
And we know that. So
I know a couple people right away that I don't know. They're not doing it specifically for athletes, but celebrities.
Yes.
So there's a brand out there. I forget what it's called. It's something brand. And he built Kylie Jenner's website.
Fine.
That's one.
Okay.
An old designer that used to work for me.
Don't tell me this because you're wasting your money now.
What's that?
Don't tell me this because you're wasting your money.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't have that much time left. I don't.
Okay, yeah.
You don't have to tell me what you know.
Okay, right.
But here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna find a few of these people.
Yep.
To make sure the market's viable.
Yep.
And you're gonna reverse engineer all of what they're doing.
Okay.
So we're looking for patterns, right?
Are you familiar with SimilarWeb?
No.
Write it down.
Okay.
You need to buy that. It's $250 a month, and you don't have. It's a month-to-month thing.
What do I do with that?
Well, if you want to do what you just told me,
yeah.
SimilarWeb is one of those analytic tools. Tell Ben about it. That's something that he needs to work with. It will show you competitor ads and where they're placing those ads.
Is this from Russell Brunson?
Yep. I got it.
I think I saw it in the book.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So you want to reverse engineer the site.
Yep.
Like headline here, this kind of picture. Okay, I get it. When you start to see a pattern, start to map out a generic boxy wireframe thing for yourself. Like This is how I need to talk to these people. Okay. Then start doing what you know how to do really well.
Networking.
No, attacking via ads and building your funnels and all that kind of.
Right.
So that you draw traffic to you.
Got it.
You're gonna have to change your entire approach here because they're very different. Okay, you're using all the knowledge, but it's applied very differently. Like $100 call may or may not be the thing that gets them in or not. I don't know what it's going to be.
No, it's going to be a mutual friend.
Well, whatever it is, you figure that out.
Yeah, I actually have two people right now that come straight to mind that I could say, Frank, Arrett, let's get a dinner going with Jason Pierre-Paul. Let's get a dinner going with Ron Harper. It scares me how I think it may be easier than we think. I don't know. But
I like that you're excited. I like that you see possibilities already. which is a very positive sign for what was hatched in our call today. That's a good sign. Because if you're like, dude, I don't know where to start. I'm like, oh, maybe it's not a good sign.
Yeah, no. It's crazy.
Right?
Like, I'm just thinking of all the outlets. So, okay, this is good stuff. I'm super pumped. I'm gonna like have to go to the gym after this because I gotta get this out, like this energy out. I'm never gonna fall asleep tonight.
Okay.
All right. The last thing I want to talk to you about is your slide deck strategy, and it sounds so stupid, but I'm really impressed with how quickly you put together slide decks for like your social media presentations. And I wanted to learn what the back end of that looks like so I can model it with some of the stuff that I do. Cause I sit in front of this desk all day long and I'm like,
Yeah.
all I have to do is flip Zoom on and start recording. And I just don't want to look at the screen. I want a deck to kind of
Right.
work off. And you
Right.
hammer those out so quickly. I want to know how do you do that?
Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you as much as I can, and it may be something that I have to literally sit down and teach you for an hour. And I am a content beast. I really am, because I've optimized everything I do, and I have the latitude or the freedom to do so because my whole team does everything else. Okay, so you just need to remember that. Okay, my entire team does everything. Okay. So basically, I don't have to show up to work anymore. Okay, so what I've done, and I'm gonna tell you because I know you want the short answer, but I'm giving you the long, more meaningful answer. Is I have dedicated now Mondays to write, Tuesdays to read.
Tell me that.
Okay, and then Wednesdays for meetings and production, and Thursday, Friday for live streaming and content making. Okay, which is still a pretty luxurious schedule if you think about it. Now, at first, I was like, "How am I going to do this? This is weird." It took some getting used to, but here's the biggest mental roadblock that I removed for myself, which is this: is that if I say to myself, "I'm supposed to read today," I used to feel guilty, Henry, that I'm not responding and checking messages and doing Facebook and doing all this other crap. The day is gone. So here's how I eased into this. The Tuesday, which I'm supposed to read, I still do all that crap I used to do. But by around lunchtime, I'm like, after lunch, I'm reading this book. And I'm still at home. So I eat lunch, I sit on a couch, and I just read. I just read, no music, and I take a break about every hour. I can read about 30 to 50 pages an hour, depending on the book. The kinds of books you and I read aren't like super dense War and Peace, but there's lots of ideas and a few words, right? So you have to process. So I know that I have to take a break every hour because I start to lose focus about every hour. Okay? So here's the beautiful part. Every hour is about a quarter of the book. And so I measure my progress and I get really pumped. I'm like, oh my God, I'm already 1/4 of the way through. Like I put the bookmark in, I'm like, wow, look, visually it feels like 1/4. I'm at a half point. Oh my God, I'm at the 3/4 point. And when I get to the 3/4 point, I know I'm in the home stretch because a lot of the acknowledgements, index, and all that crap is in the back. It's a lot of filler in the back, so I know I'm almost done. And then I'm highlighting the whole time, by the way, right? I read with a highlighter in my hand. It keeps me focused and it allows me to go back and mine the content. That's phase one. Phase two, I have index cards, 3x5 index cards, and I reread the book of just the highlights and I write down what I think is important. Why an index card? Because there's finite space on the index card. It forces you to paraphrase and absorb the content. This is really critical. If you use a big blunt instrument, like a Sharpie, then you'll have even less space to write. So that forces you to distill 200 pages down to like 50 highlighted things, down to like 16 cards. If you budget only 16 cards, you count beforehand, you just put them there, 16 cards, you can only record the 16 most important ideas. So by this time already, I almost feel like I could rewrite the book. So this is like making me feel really amped and powerful at this moment in time. And then I go online now. Now I'm free. So the day's done. This usually takes a couple days. It's like I read the book in a day. I revisit another day. It only takes me like a quarter of the time, obviously, and absorbing the information. And then now I need to get it out. If I don't get it out, just like you go into the gym, I feel like it's not helping anybody and I'm going to lose the information. My way of retaining the information is to teach somebody. So I'm on calls all the time. I'm on live streams. I'm writing. I'm producing decks. So now I have this content surplus in my mind. That's where it begins. If you don't do it like that, you're sitting there staring at your freaking deck and you're like, dude, I don't know what to say. This is stupid. It's not going anywhere, right? Okay. I'm going to give you all my hacks here, okay? So I'm taking you through the entire process. So what I do is I have a Keynote deck. This is how I make my slides. And I'm really good at Keynote now. I used to be okay, and now I'm like a genius on Keynote. I know things that I'm like, I don't think people know how to do this. I'm just doing it, right? Keynote forces you to focus on the big picture and never the details, because you can't adjust all these things in Keynote. To a degree, you can. So I'm laying things out big and block because I need it. I'm working usually on 3 to 5 different decks at the same time. I'll tell you why. The different decks are within the same document. So content for Instagram, it can only be 10 slides long. So each one is a 10-slide folder like that. So I'll do one on strategy. I'll do one on typography. I'll do one on something because I get stuck, right? It doesn't flow. It doesn't gel. So I'll spend 4 hours working on something like I'm just stuck. And I realize putting more hours is diminishing return. Mm-hmm. I go work on another problem. While working on the other problem, my archiving brain figures out the answer to the other problem. It's a trick. A lot of famous, successful people do this. They work on 3 to 5 projects simultaneously, because when you switch gears after you're stuck, your other brain takes over and you solve those problems. So that's why you're like seeing this stream, because I'm at any point in time working on 3 to 5 different ideas until they feel like they're fully baked.
Interesting.
That's how I'm cranking out the content. Now, a couple other things that I do. I have a Shutterstock account, and I am able to download 350 images a month.
That's what I have.
Right. So we're on the same program. So if I need an image, I do it. And I'm now become quite organized in where I put assets. This is the background. This is the texture. This is a silhouette. This is at hands. You just need lots of hands. You just learn that this is what you need over time. And then if I cut things out, I will take the time to cut it out right the first time. So things with hair, I spend a lot of time cutting things out to get it right, because I know I can use that asset over and over again.
Right.
So for me, that's like the sous chef doing all the prep work in the kitchen.
Yep.
So I'm like, yes, done. Yes. And it's an infinite pantry. It never runs out because you can reuse the assets. They don't ever diminish, right? So I know certain things work, and so I can get those things out really fast. Now I'm going through another phase of like learning how to tell stories in 10-slide carousels at that size. Figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and how to tell a story. And I got to tell you, in this last month alone, in the last two and a half weeks, I've grown by 10,000 new followers on Instagram.
I saw it.
And it's like, holy crap. I just checked my phone. My kid freaks out because he's like, Dad, I got one comment today. He's so happy. He's like, what? Like every time he lifts up the phone, it refreshes. Like, it's working. And I'm starting to learn how to do Instagram and to do Twitter. So I don't think of myself as a social media expert, but I know a lot more than what most people do.
Same here.
With YouTube as well.
Well, the good news is I'm gonna carry out these calls with Roberto, but now knowing how passionate you've gotten about social media, I'm going to use these conversations to have those with you. I really did not want to hire another voice. I wanted to bring, but something made me think that wasn't your strong point. So I'm going to keep you where you're strong, and I'll go there for the social media issues. But now that I know that you have all of this, I'm going to keep all my eggs in this basket because it makes so much more sense and it's so much easier.
Okay. Can I make some suggestions for you?
Yeah.
Are you posting regularly on LinkedIn?
I am every day.
Do you get a lot of traction?
No.
Okay. Then change your content. Change the formula. Because usually when I put something out, I get a lot of traction. And I can't figure out why, but it does. Most of the times because I'm not self-promoting. There's a couple of people out there who are genuine sources of information and design and inspiration that when they post something, it's crazy. They have like 600 reactions. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I messaged this guy. I think his name is like Davar or something. He's got a strange name, right? And I'm like, dude, are you getting work out of this? Like, what are you getting out of this? He's like, first of all, I'm passionate and happy about doing these kinds of things. But yes, I am getting work out of this. So some people have told me, when I mentioned this to them, they're like, they stopped pinning images and looking because he's become their source for it.
No shit. Okay.
That's how powerful he's become. So if you start talking about sports, personal branding, and just studying what other people do and reporting on that, you get the credit for doing it. It's really weird.
I saw you do that. You did that with the Brooks logo. The Bricks logo on Instagram. There was a logo, Brooks logo or Bricks, something along the line. It was like how they redid this Brooks logo, right? And you didn't even do it.
That wasn't me. That was somebody else. That's somebody on my team. Are you talking about the Futures account on Instagram?
The Futures account.
Yeah, I don't do that. Somebody else manages that. But yes,
okay,
that's what they're doing.
Right. So so all the stuff that goes on the Chris Do account, that's you.
That's me.
Okay, so I'm gonna pay attention to that.
Yeah, pay attention to that. The Future is a whole team of people, mostly a woman. Her name is Elle, and she's very good because she's a social media marketing person. Like from school, she's a social media marketer, and she's not quite a writer, not quite a designer, not quite an animator or an editor, but she does all those things, and she's quite clever. So what she's doing is she's scraping our content, repurposing it, and making it look a little bit different so it doesn't feel like it's the same. And on top of that, she's been able to adopt our tactics and put her own spin on it so it doesn't feel like a mirror site of my account.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what she's doing. She's very good at it.
My biggest concern is if I put so what we realized on Monday when I had my team call was, I don't know we're going over and I appreciate you. Like the what are we known for? What is Henry known for? When people think Henry's name, they think branding and they think design. Like Henry's a killer designer. He has this team now that is just crushing it, right? My fear is that if I post all design stuff online, right, I'm just going to attract G'day Franks and Justin Create. I'm going to attract all these designers following me like they follow you.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. So that's why you see my content much different than yours. Mm-hmm. Because my target is more the entrepreneur, not the designer. Mm-hmm. So that's where my catch-22 is. And if I could ask you one more question, how would I handle that? Okay.
I think it would be a mistake for you to bill yourself as a designer.
Okay.
Because I didn't even know that you had a master's degree in business.
Okay, that's good to know. That's
Think about it, Henry. You're swimming into a very deep pool of people who are already well staked out.
Designer-wise.
Yeah, if you think about it.
You're right.
And they have much higher pedigrees than you. They have a lot more experience.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, no blow to your ego here, but they can probably out-design you with one hand.
They could.
But how many of them have any business sense? Zero.
Yep.
So what you want to do is lean into your hybridness.
There's the blue. Yeah.
Right? That's what you're supposed to do. That's what I'm doing. I'm not just a designer. I've run a company and I coach and teach people about the business. So, and I try to do it in a funny, sardonic way. So then people are like, oh, you're one of a kind. I'm like, yeah, because I segmented it so much so and put all this weird gumbo soup together like nobody else can have that spoonful. You can only get it from me. And I bring in my Asianness now because I'm feeling more and more at liberty to do so. You know, and you're going to see it happen even more. I bring my kids, my wife into the story because I'm leaning into the whole personality now.
Good.
Right? So all of that you're seeing unfold in real time.
That's great.
Because at the beginning, nobody wants to hear about you and your family.
That's true.
You establish expertise.
That's right.
Then there's a personality behind that. And you're like, oh, I care about this. Now I care about your family. The other way is kind of hard.
You're absolutely right.
Right? I usually advise people against doing that. So you'll see me slowly fold things in. And what's really interesting, just as a side note for you, is because we're all comparing notes here, somebody wrote a whole blog post about me sharing a Comic-Con experience with my son and turning that into an art gallery experience and teaching him. How the hell is he scraping on? I don't know. He's digging around a lot of places to put this story together. So I may try to help people more in that way in the future by writing the story myself so that they can say, look, now I can jump off that. But it's very interesting how people are able to follow me on multiple platforms and put together their own narrative about what they're seeing.
Say?
Right? Okay. On Twitter, I put out a post. You may have seen it. I said, I'm going to be dark for a little while. I'm out with the family at Yosemite, and I put up 2 like nice pictures. That thing got 400 or 500 hearts, more so than every other post I've put up since then.
Yeah.
And so that's what from time to time, they want to see there's a human there.
I get that.
So that's what they want from me. So it's like not always robot. So somebody who's all family, they may want a little robot. So it's like this complex, really multi-layered thing that makes you.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you do posts on LinkedIn, don't try to be the world's designer, but you can appreciate good design in it solving a business problem.
Boom.
So if you could be the interpreter, see, tea leaves have really not a ton of value, right? Water doesn't have a ton of value, but the people who read tea leaves have a lot of value. So people have made careers out of just writing about other people's design decisions.
And that's mind-blowing, but you're absolutely right. Yep.
Whatchamacallit? Zagat's.
Right.
They don't make food.
That's right.
But they're more famous and more powerful than the chefs that, they used to be.
Right.
Than the chefs that they critique.
Right. Michelin, same.
Same thing with all these people, right? Siskel and Ebert, where they were still around.
That's right. That's right.
Man, all of them. So
they made or break movies.
You know why? Here's the thing. People need interpreters to the world.
Yeah.
They're just not that smart looking at it. And you and I walk around thinking, everybody must know this. So why would I write about this? This is obviously so dumb and stupid. As soon as you do it, as soon as somebody throws a grid over a logo and points out something that we all knew, it's like, oh my God, genius.
Yeah.
So you're the guy who's going to be reading sports news with branding and finding the intersection between the two. It's going to be fantastic because I just don't see many people doing it.
This just lit me up, dude. This really lit me up.
And the more, Henry, you can lean into who you are, your interests, and your personality, and find that sweet spot, we're going to win.
Oh, man. You better believe it. You better believe it.
So when you came out here, we're struggling to find that.
I felt that.
We're struggling because it wasn't all available. I don't know why today. It's like, I'm seeing you in a different way today. I don't know why. And then I'm like, oh, forget about you trying to use the Dante voice. It's the struggle for you. And I think part of it was just seeing how, like, when you're talking to me, you're not going to use your radio voice on me, even though I just told you to use your radio voice. So that's just making Henry, into a square when he's not a square. Yeah.
There was a moment when there was a time, a couple sessions back, where you were advising me to slow down and mellow out.
Yes.
And man, I can't tell you, I walked off that call saying that ain't going to work.
It's obvious now.
Yeah. So, and that call when you called me randomly on that Sunday night.
Yeah.
I think that's when you realized you were like, I got to watch how I advise you going forward. I think that might have been when something might have switched initially, because this call reminds me of like our early calls. Just on a couple of different reasons, because you took my energy and sort of wung it back at me, and like I knew what to do with it. When you come at me with this, oh, you got to slow down stuff, I'm like, that's not in my DNA. And
yeah.
Right. And so I was like, that's not going to work for me. I might have to find somebody else to talk to now, because right. Like that's what was going on in my head.
Okay. You should say that to me next time, by the way.
Well, now I did. So,
okay.
But you have a whole different, now you have a whole, like this call was beautiful, because now we're going to go in a completely different direction. And I just feel it.
You know what happened, really? I'm reacting to you.
You're right. I do
So
it.
when you come to me and you're like, dude, these clients are killing me, I'm like, well, why do you attract these kinds of clients? Right? So there's two ways that conversation could have gone.
You're right.
Well, you're sending, and you were just telling me minutes ago, see, I can only work with what you give me. Like, I was so pissed off. Why am I attracting these people? They're just like low rent, knuckle scraping. My thing is you to change. The reaction is you should change, Henry. But the other way is to say, well, change who you're working with.
That's it.
So don't change. There's only two ways, right? If you're this super malleable guy, the change thing would work for you.
That's right.
But it turns out you're not, because I was watching this whole time when I'm like, hey, use your radio voice. You're like, oh, okay. And it lasted for like 3 seconds. Just like I don't have high hopes my wife is going to be like this really sweet talking Southern girl. You know, she's not. She's going to be barking at me the whole time out of love, but still barking at me.
That's right.
Right. So you guys are like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of hope in that. So now we had to change gears. I just tried an idea with you so I could see if you react.
Well, it worked.
So now let's find somebody that can love you and you can love them with 10% effort. Not 90%, because I don't know it's going to be productive for you or it's true to who you are. And I think you said it to me. That's why I wrote down, people see the real Henry. I'm like, well, there's a fake Henry here then. That's the trigger. It wasn't all this other stuff. When you told me, she's like, I wish I could see other people could see the real Henry, this side of you. It's like, what side are you putting out there that people aren't seeing that, right? So, you know, when people meet me in real life, they usually have one or two reactions like, oh my God, you're just like how you appear to be on TV. You're not this weirdo in person that is just putting it on for the camera. The other reaction they get from me is, I misread you. You're actually this really genuine, loving person. It was my own bias. That's it. It's not like I put out one energy on TV and then I become a whole different person.
Yeah, I'm not that way. No way. Like I get the, hey, from your exterior, I don't know what I'm getting right away. But now that I get to know you, you're sensitive, you're a sweetheart, you're this, you're that, right? Which it's basically the same thing you just said. Yeah, I don't put on a show, and people know that. People have come up to me and said, one thing I really like about you is that you're the real deal, and I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. If there's anything that I appreciate more, or if anybody ever wants to give me a compliment, that's what they should say to me, because that means a lot. It means a lot because I was not the real deal many years ago.
Sure.
And I've come a long way to correct that. And when people see that, it makes me feel good, period.
So we know that all of us are evolving human beings.
Sure.
We shouldn't be held not accountable, but held to what our older ideas were. But we're all moving at a different pace, right? I move really fast, so I assume everybody can change to be whatever they want. And it turns out, no, nobody can do that. Yeah. Only people. So we just move degrees, right? We're just moving degrees. So what has to happen is your social media needs to catch up to where you're at.
Correct.
That's all.
So I need some help with that.
Yeah. When you get clarity in who you are, it'll be much easier. So right now, it feels like, not you literally, but I want to be this, I want to be this. So we're not clear. So we're trying and we're not clear. Now it's like, I want you to be the person who's going to work with professional athletes who are looking to establish a second career to leverage their fame into a business of influence. That is super clear in my mind now.
It's really clear.
Right?
I'm so happy you wrote that down.
It's there. Right?
That's okay. Extremely helpful.
Okay. I got to wrap up because I got to do another thing. Before I go, I want to talk to you about something.
Go ahead.
Are you going on another vacation, you said?
Say that again?
Are you going on another vacation?
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday, okay. There may be a situation where a trip on my fishing expedition is going to open up. If it does, would you want to go with us?
That would be awesome. When is it, though?
It's the 22nd
of September.
of August.
Holy shit. Oh, that's a Sunday.
No, it starts on a Thursday.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But you don't have to be there for that. It just literally the plane leaves Saturday the 24th, and it goes to the 28th. It's in Vancouver, so it's a long flight.
Okay, so I would have to get to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's what, if my guy drops out, which he may, I will have an opening for you. So you don't have to pay for the fishing. You just got to pay for your flight and hotel.
Okay.
Everything else will be taken care of. So your only financial obligation is get your butt to where we are.
Yeah.
To stay in a room. And then once we go fishing, everything is taken care of, and you're only obligated to tip them. That's all.
Okay. And who is it? Just you and I?
No, it's our whole management team.
Oh, get out of here.
It's a management retreat. So Ben, Matthew, Mark, myself, and one other pro member is going to be there.
Oh my God, that would be a freaking amazing.
So I was thinking of, okay, it's going to be like you have to already be in Vancouver on the 23rd. So let's say Friday the 23rd.
August 23rd.
And you'd fly back the 28th.
Okay, 28th. Okay. So I need to
Vancouver.
I need to be in Vancouver the 23rd.
Yes, you do, because at 7 or 8 in the morning, you have to be at the airport to go to this lodge. Now, before we go all crazy, okay, just tell me if it's a remote possibility, yes or no. Not a second, just email me. I need to let you know something though. The reason why one of my guys is like having second thoughts, is cold feet, is because there was an accident. One of their planes went down.
Oh.
Yeah. So we fly in a float plane.
A puddle jumper.
Yes. It lands in the water, right?
Yeah, puddle jumper. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It seats 9 people. So they've been running for 30 years. This is the first accident they ever had. Unfortunately, people did die. 4 people died, 5 people lived. They crashed into the tree. They don't know. They're not going to know what happened for some time.
What was this, recent?
This was like a couple of weeks ago.
Holy shit.
So they just sent us the email out like last week. And so all my guys are like, we're fine. But I don't want you to get into something that you're like, dude.
Well,
why'd you tell me?
I got the impression when you started saying we're flying to whatever, I figured we were getting on a puddle jumper.
It's a small plane.
Yeah.
Okay, so what they're doing right now is they're investigating, right, of course, and there have not been any other incidents, thankfully. They're also contemplating flying us over land, not into water, and then having us take a boat from that other place that's like an hour away, and then, driving in via boat. So they're looking into other options. There's no problem with the planes. They're still flying people in and out, but there is risk. And we're also going to be out in the open ocean. I will let you know. Okay. I've been with my 12-year-old boy, and I've been with my dad and my uncles. None of us are harmed, but it's an outdoor activity in the open ocean. Things can happen.
Jesus Christ. I'll tell you, it definitely takes me out of my comfort zone.
You ever catch salmon before?
No.
You're in for a treat if we wind up doing this together.
Yeah.
Okay. So think about it.
Yeah.
There are risks. Okay. Just like if you, I guess there's the same amount of risk flying in any plane.
Well, dude, I've been in a hell. I never told you this, but my wife and I, when we had a Jet Smarter membership, we had helicopter transport from New York City to the airport.
Yeah.
Can you believe that they didn't cancel the heliport transfer? It was 45-mile-an-hour winds, and they took us up in a helicopter, and I went.
Was it bumpy as hell?
Insane. Something weird comes over me in those situations. I am 1,000% calm. My wife was out of her mind.
Of course.
It's usually the other way around. Mm. So it's not the first time I've been in one of those small, confined, up in the air experiences.
Yeah.
Listen.
I've been in a helicopter ride twice in my life, and they're scary as hell.
Yeah.
They are scary as hell because they cannot really land.
That's right.
Once that thing goes down, you're gone. People die in those things quite often, actually.
Yeah, and I did it 4 or 5 times that year. So, you know, listen, let me know. I have to tell my wife this like today.
Yeah,
right? You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna plant the seed. You keep me posted, and you know
I will know really soon.
Okay.
So you let me know, and I'm gonna give you first right of refusal if it opens. I can't pressure anybody to go. I don't want to because I don't want to live with in case anything happens, right? Obviously. So everybody else is like, we're going.
Is this deep sea fishing?
It's open water, dude. It's in a little boat. It's not like I wouldn't consider deep sea because there's a channel like what is it called? Chain of islands, and so it's protected. But it is the freaking ocean, dude. I mean, if you went in one direction towards the horizon, you're in the ocean. You're in the Pacific.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, we go where the fish are. So this is like 3 hours north of Vancouver via plane.
It's a 3-hour plane ride?
It's like 2.5 hours, yeah.
In a puddle jumper. Holy Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
So if we go the other way, it's going to add an additional hour because we have to travel by boat. Taxied in by boat.
Listen, I don't care if it takes me 5 hours if I'm safe.
Well, you know, those cruise ships go down too. You know what I'm saying? Everything goes down.
Everything.
So it's a question of like, you know what? How's your life? How's your luck? How you feeling? You know, it's like you can get in a car tomorrow and somebody can. I just saw today a car ran a red light, almost freaking plowed this car, and the car was just like sitting like, oh my god, I can't believe that fool just ran that red light. Thank God they didn't gun it through because they would have been T-boned. T-boned. You know, what is it? 29 people got freaking slain during this mass shooting. 2 mass shootings. Just shopping at Walmart.
Same day. Yeah.
Shopping at Walmart can kill you, dude. So that's my thing. I would rather personally die doing something I love in the spirit of adventure than doing something mundane like going to the post office.
I believe it.
Right. But I don't want to live. Meaning, if we go down, like, please, just take me out, dude. I have life insurance. My family's good. They all know I love them. Everything's good.
That's right. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up.
Yeah. Just like, hey, let me walk away from it, or don't let me walk away from it at all. That's it. Because I don't want to be like, hey, how you doing?
That's right.
I was like, you're like, Jesus Christ, what happened to you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not into that either.
Right. Just put me down. Take me down like a dog. I'm done. I'm good, man.
All right.
Let me know. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, it's a coveted ticket, so if it winds up being free, then you want to get on that, okay?
Got it.
All right, man. Take care.
Later.
Okay, bye.